Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals versus Los Angeles Rams Week 7 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, it will always be very fluid in terms of keeping track of various team trends. However, there will always be little nuggets of data that could become bigger nuggets of data as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting with this matchup between the Cardinals and the Rams, Los Angeles Rams. When you look at the overall data, again, NFL Stat Basic Comparisons is just looking at every little sort of point, looking at how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, how the special teams is doing. And most of the data here favors the Rams overwhelmingly. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the Cardinals had a pretty big week last week. That was the best Carson Palmer's ever played this year. Adrian Peterson didn't look like a really older back, because again, Adrian Peterson's in his 30s. So there's a lot of things to dissect there. But the one thing I can say is that this defense is not quite the same defense that they're about to, like, the Cardinals definitely had a very good week. No doubt about it. But most of the year, this has been the result. So, you're always going to have ebbs and flows when it comes to NFL teams, where teams are playing good one week and then bad another week and a little bit better this week and a little bit, and the best performance here. But it's really about what you're doing from a consistent basis. What are you doing consistently throughout the year? And that's what this data is. And based on how the Cardinals have played throughout the entire season and based on how the Rams have played throughout the entire season, the Rams are heavily favored here. Could the last game be indicative of something positive that they continue to play this way? Sure, absolutely. But based on how they've been playing consistently throughout the year, I just have doubts in terms of being able to put up that type of performance consistently throughout the rest of the year based on what they've been doing over the course early in the year. But overall, why the Rams are favored so heavily? So first off, when it comes to things like the total D score, the total D score is the ability to prevent first downs on defense, and the Rams defense is better when it comes to that. Total O score, the ability to create first downs on offense, heavily favors the Rams, where they are better when it comes to that as well. Then, of course, you look at turnover ratio. Both these teams are not bad when it comes to turnovers, but the Rams are better in terms of not giving up as many turnovers. You look at sack percentage. The Rams allow a lot less sacks than the Cardinals have over the course of the year. And offensive score percentage. The big difference between both these teams. The offensive score percentage of the Rams, which is basically the ability to put up points on every single drive. And the Rams have about a 97.01 out of 100, whereas the Cardinals have a 35.91 out of 100. So, for the most part, what happened last week of the Cardinals is not indicative of how they played throughout the entire year. And if it keeps up, they'll get better. But you have one team that's consistently been able to put up points on every single drive. Even in the bad games, they were able to put up points. And another team that's pretty much struggled a lot and then had one big week. So again, the Rams are still heavily favored because most of the year the Cardinals have not been able to put up a lot of points on offense. Defensively speaking, the Rams are also better when it comes to not allowing points in terms of offensive score percentage. Turnover ratio, the Rams have gotten more turnovers than the Cardinals have, defensively speaking. But both these teams are below average when it comes to turnovers. They don't really create that many turnovers. Then you look at sack percentage, more so heavily the Rams as well. The Rams are one of the better teams in the NFL when it comes to creating sacks on defense, whereas the Cardinals are one of the worst teams in the NFL when it comes to creating sacks. Interception percentage is more so in favor of the Rams, though, compared to the Cardinals as well. But again, both these teams don't really create a lot of turnovers. Then you look at special teams. Punt return yardage favors the Rams, but both of these teams are not the best when it comes to punt return yardage. Kick return yardage heavily favors the Rams. The Rams have about a 99.69 out of 100 kick return yardage score, whereas the Cardinals have a 16.38 out of 100. And then you look at preventing punt return yardage, heavily favors the Rams as well. preventing kick return yardage favors the Rams. Field goal percentage favors the Rams. Extra point percentage favors the Rams. And the only special teams specific thing that favors the Cardinals is punting average. But both these teams are pretty much in the same ballpark when it comes to punting average in terms of how many yards per punt they usually get. So ultimately the data heavily favors the Rams. They're able to put up more points. Their defense is able to not allow as many points. Their defense is also able to get more turnovers. More sacks, like just everything positive you could think of on defense, they do better than the Cardinals. On top of that, their offense also does everything positive more consistently than that. Could the Cardinals take that success they had last week and turn it into success this week? Absolutely. But until we see this become a consistent pattern, you can't bank on it, ultimately. Then you look at some other sort of matchups. So now looking at things like completion percentage and those other sort of more micro matchup settings. So this is the Cardinals' completion percentage off in terms of their offense versus the Rams' defense when it comes to preventing completion percentage, and this heavily favors, pretty much favors the Rams overall in terms of first down situations and third down situations. Then you look at the Rams' offense versus the Cardinals' defense when it comes to completion percentage, and this more so favors. It's kind of a little bit more even, but there's a heavy disparity when it comes to the Cardinals' defense on second down situations. So the Rams have poor completion percentage in second down situations, and the Cardinals are one of the better defenses when it comes to second down situations. So that's actually going to be a key matchup to kind of watch. Then you look at rushing down. So this is the Cardinals rushing offense versus the Rams rushing defense, and this honestly heavily favors the Rams defense except for third down situations. The Rams, in terms of their rushing defense, they do really well on first down, and then it just kind of falls off a cliff on second down and third down. So that's kind of the big factor to kind of see in this game. And then you look at the Rams rushing offense versus the Cardinals rushing defense, and this more so favors the Rams except for second down situations, but there is a pretty big disparity on first down that favors the Rams, and there is a slight disparity when it comes to favoring the Rams as well in third down situations. So I would say this kind of favors the Rams overall, but second down is definitely going to be a down to see if the Rams can have success there because of how well the Cardinals do in terms of second down situations, in terms of preventing the run. And then you look at passing down situations. So this is the Cardinals passing offense versus the Rams passing defense. This heavily favors the Rams defense in terms of second down situations and third down situations, but I do think the Cardinals will have success in first down situations. And then you look at the Rams passing offense versus the Cardinals passing defense. This also favors the Rams except for second down situations. Again, the Rams offense, in terms of second down situations, that's the one Achilles heel. That's the one weakness they have in terms of their passing offense. The second down situations, that's also a big strength that the Cardinals have on their defense is second down situations. But I think overall, because of that disparity in first and third down, I think that does favor the Rams here when it comes to the passing offense. Then you look at sack rate. So this is the sack rate of the Arizona Cardinals offense versus the Rams defense, and this heavily favors the Rams. When it comes to sack rate, the Cardinals are pretty much the worst team in the NFL right now when it comes to preventing sacks on first down. They're pretty much bottoms also when it comes to preventing sacks on second down, and third down is still a mess as well. So this heavily favors the Rams here when it comes to sacks. Then you look at the Rams offense versus the Cardinals defense. Most of the sacks that the Cardinals have been able to get have been in second down situations, and those are areas where the Rams offense does really well at preventing sacks. So this, again, heavily favors the Rams here. Then you look at interception ratio of the Cardinals offense versus the Rams defense, and this more so favors the Rams defense as well when it comes to getting picks. And then lastly, you look at the interception rate of the Rams offense versus the Cardinals defense, and this actually kind of sways more so to the Cardinals for the most part in terms of first down situations and second down situations. I think there definitely will probably be one pick or two picks in this game because of that factor. But so overall, how do I feel about this game? Well, again, I still favor the Rams. I think when you look at the overall data, I understand the Cardinals had a big week, but I don't know. Again, we don't know the consistency of this. So ultimately, I just have to go with the team that's been more consistent, the team that's been able to put up points for most of the year, and that has been the Rams. And the Cardinals have not been that. So ultimately, that's where I'm going to roll in on this. I think the Rams ultimately will be able to outscore them. I think they'll also be able to get some turnovers. And I think those will be key factors in terms of this game. And if the Cardinals continue to play really well and get this win, great. But until they prove that they can do what they did last week consistently throughout the rest of the year, you just can't bank on it. So ultimately, that's kind of how I feel about this game. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.